Hello there. I'd like to welcome you again today to our leadership series, Leading Edge. I do hope this continues to help you in your leadership journey. Today, I will do a continuation of the subject of transformation that we started in the last session. All right? And so I'll be talking to you again on this subject. Now, it's on record that 30% of corporate transformational journeys are successful, meaning that 70% are not. Okay? And these numbers may even be lower, I will suggest, for the individual space. The question would be why? Why are 70% of transformational journeys unsuccessful while it's only 30% that are? Right? So today I'll be sharing a few thoughts on what I consider keys on how to make the journey of transformation successful. It was Michelangelo who once said, "Every block of stone has a statue inside it, and it's the duty of the sculptor to discover it." And let me tell you something, this is true today as it was 5 centuries ago. What this means is that there's a better version of you, a better version of your company, a better version of the project you are handling, a better version of your school, your institution, whatever you do. There's a better version of that. It is your duty as the sculptor to be able to bring out the statue inside it. If you fold your hands, nothing will happen, and you remain like a raw material in a raw state, and nothing very significant can flow out of your company, out of the institution you run, out of your life indeed. And so my question today as we start this conversation will be, are you that sculptor that can bring a very fine statue out of the block of stone of your life, of your company, and whatever else you do? So today, I'll be talking to you about 4 pillars to drive transformation. 4 pillars for transformation. And these pillars will be, number 1, inspiration. Number 2, information. Number 3, imagination. And number 4, intervention. That's my way of saying execution. All right, so let's start. We start first with inspiration. Now, when I thought about inspiration, one incident that happened at a very critical time in my life came back to my mind. Now, I was in the secondary school, and I was what you would call a very average student, very, very average, right? When I was in primary school and secondary school, I was average up till my second year in secondary school. Until one day, something happened, and I consider that a very transformational moment in my life. I had a group of my peers, another in a set of other boys that were all friends. And by the way, my school was a mixed school, so we had girls and boys in the school. And then one day, the senior prefect of the school, God bless his heart, I can never forget him, he called about 4 of us boys, called us together and started asking us some probing questions. What was his question? Now, all 4 of us, even though we were boys, were very popular in school, but when it came to academic performance, we were really nowhere. We were all average. It was the girls that were coming first, coming second, coming third, coming fourth. They had all the best positions in class. And so he calls us and says, how can you boys be there and girls are coming tops in class? Don't you know you are men? Okay, well, even though this may sound chauvinistic, but when he said that, it dawned on me that I could actually do better than I was doing. I'm a very simple-minded person, so immediately he said that, I took it to heart. It was a light bulb moment for me. It changed my entire life. All right? Now, what that senior prefect did that day was that he turned a light on in my life. Let me show this to you. Number 1, I went back to class and I worked so hard that by the end of that term, I came fourth, all the way from, very middle of the range. I moved all the way from there and came fourth in class for the very first time in my life. Listen, by the next term, I came second. And by the next one, I started coming first. Can I ask you a question? So what changed? What changed? It was the same set of teachers, the same school, the same environment, the same delivery method. But what had changed was that I changed. Something had sparked off something inside me. A light had been turned on. That is what is called inspiration. So you can call it self-discovery. That day, I found me. For you to be able to successfully embark on a journey of transformation, you will require inspiration. Inspiration indeed is the foundation for transformation. It helps you uncover the why of the journey. It is important for us to know why the transformation must come about in our lives. If you are unable to determine why, if there is no spark that drives you, then the journey may not even start. Or when it starts, it just gets ended very abruptly. So you require inspiration. Inspiration becomes the fuel that we need to get started on the journey and to go after what we want in life. It is the inspiration we need to persevere and to stick with it all through. Makes it easy for us to go on. So, number one, you will require inspiration as a foundational pillar to drive transformation in your life. Good. So, having received inspiration, what is the next? That day, that older student, the senior prefect, sparked off something inside me. It made me start thinking that there is more to me, I can do more. All right, but inspiration is not enough. After inspiration, you will require information. Information. Now that you have found you, now that you are inspired to become something, what critical knowledge do you require? All right? That is the question that information answers. So you may be all inspired, but if you have no knowledge on how to embark on the journey, you will not go far. So you need to add to inspiration knowledge or information. I'll tell you one very interesting incident that happened in my life. It was when I had just done my my MA thesis, right? My MA thesis, done my master's, and then I was waiting for the viva. Now something happened. Between the time I submitted my thesis, my master thesis, and the time of the viva, over 1 year had lapsed because of issues in the school. Within that period, something happened. A young friend of mine traveled all the way from Zaria in the northern part of Nigeria to the eastern part where I was. And he came to see me. And on seeing me, he handed over to me some newspaper cuttings, okay, on the area I worked on for my master's thesis. This was new information. In fact, at the point I did my thesis, those information were not there. So he brought that information to me. And I read through that. It was new. On the day of the viva, I sat in the room and the external examiner was there. He started praising the work, how this had been the best work he had ever read, and all of that. Suddenly, he asked me a question. The first question he asked me was on those new information that had come out in that area of my research that I hadn't put in the research document. Can I tell you something? As he asked that question, I froze for a moment. What was going through my mind was, what could have happened if I didn't have that information available to me? And so I sat back that day on the chair and I started reeling out this new set of information on the research area. And that was the end of the conversation. All right. So information becomes very critical if you must undergo the journey of transformation. So you will need alignment between inspiration and knowledge. All right? So inspiration requires information to put you on the right course. Okay, so these are the ways you can source information. So you can borrow brilliance. You can. You can. All right? You don't need to know everything. You just need to know where to source the materials that you require. So you can borrow brilliance from people who have achieved what you are seeking. All right? You can acquire the wisdom through books, through programs, through workshops, through sessions like this. You can also learn from your own experience of what works and what doesn't work. So information becomes very critical. So number one, you will need inspiration to spark the light on. And after that, you will require information to build some guidance and provide you direction on your journey. So the third pillar will be imagination. Now listen to this. If you cannot dream up a world, you can't build a thing of lasting value. I'll say that again. If you cannot dream up a world, you can't build a thing of lasting value. Now listen, the journey of ascension starts with great imagination. Every great leader carries great dreams. All right? This is what creates the difference between what you call an incremental mindset, when you are just adding on, okay, and an exponential mindset, where you are blowing things up. Great leaders create what I call rooftop dreams. I wrote somewhere that rooftop dreams are attainable. All you need is a ladder. All you need is a ladder. So the great leader sits down and can conceptualize. He makes it real in his mind big outcomes that are possible. All right? Listen, my best quote is from a playwright, was also a critic and political activist, George Bernard Shaw. He said this: you see things the way they are and you ask why. I dream things that never were and I ask why not. I think that's powerful, right? That is what separates leaders from followers. That ability to dream things that never were, and you ask yourself, so why not? And so when you meet a great leader, they'll be throwing some big ideas, big dreams, big outcomes, and they look like otherworldly, as if they don't belong to this world, right? It is because they are inspired, they are informed, and by the way, they carry a great power of imagination. All right? This is what is called exponential thinking, the power of unbridled imagination. Imagination is to create a dream and to start working as though that dream is already here. All right? So transformation is that point where the outside reality catches up with our internal reality. And so we call it imagination. All right. So we've covered the issue of inspiration, covered the pillar of information, and then we've covered imagination. I'll tell you the fourth point. The fourth point is what I call intervention. Now that's my way of saying execution. One of my best corporate slogans, by the way, is Nike's "Just Do It." I don't often, it doesn't often sit well with me when people say, I will try. My team members, when they come to me and they say, I will try, I say to them, just do it. Don't try, just do it. Now, execution is critical. See, information, inspiration, imagination, without relevant action is at best daydreaming. I'll say that again. You have inspiration, you have information, you have imagination, and you don't add intervening deliberate action. It is at best daydreaming. And there are so many people out there who are just daydreaming because they don't add to all their imagination, all their big ideas, they don't add action to it. Okay? It is like carrying a well-loaded gun and then you never pull the trigger. then it's all a waste. In the Bible, we hear about the sons of Ephraim who were armed with bow and arrow, and yet they turned back in the day of battle. So the question will be, what is the use of the bow and what's the use of the arrow? All right? So victories are not won merely in the war room. They are won in the war front, ultimately. They are won when we translate strategy to execution. And that's what that point is about. It's about execution. So you want transformation, then pull the trigger. Take that action today. Take it today. You know, there's a lot of buzzword going on around today. How do you transform your business in the new normal? All of that. Listen, my friends, the real meat of all that talk is that you step into work and do what needs to be done concerning your business, concerning the organization that you run. So take action today. It's our action executed with intentionality that brings us closer to our desire, and eventually they make our dreams happen. They make our dreams happen. All right. So let me be clear about this. Know that sometimes, though we may be clear on the inspiration, clear on the information, clear on the imagination, we may not feel like taking the action needed because of either fear or the sense of uncertainty. All right. Now this is real. All right. So you can afford to feel fear, but can I advise you, do it anywhere. Feel fear, but do it anywhere. This will serve two purposes for you. If you conquer your fear and step out and act on the things you say you will do. Two things. So one, you will find out when you start executing that your fear sometimes were misplaced. It wasn't as bad as you thought. And number two, even when it doesn't work, when you've stepped out to act and those things don't turn out the way you thought they would turn out, it will at least provide you additional information and data to help you the next time you want to embark on a similar journey. All right? Okay, so let's go through this again. So to deliver transformation, you need these four critical pillars. Inspiration. Inspiration answers the question, what's driving you from within? Right. Number two, information. Information answers the question, what do you need to know to be able to get to the place that you want to go to? Number three, imagination. Imagination asks the question, what do you see? What do you see? What will you change into? And what's the destination picture? You need to clarify that completely. And number four will be intervention, or what I call execution. So now it answers the question, how do I get to work? In fact, you need to now get to work to deliver the change that you need. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this session today on the four pillars of transformation. I want to thank you again for joining us. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do that and follow us on all our various social media handles. And do remember that our big conference, the Difference Makers Leadership Conference, themed Transformation, Adapt, Arise, Advance. I am full of expectation. My dear friends, Feladu Otoye, Nkem Chima, Simon Lau, and a whole lot of other people will be joining us for this conference. It's going to be huge, and I invite you to register if you've not registered and do participate. There'll be powerful plenaries. Indeed, we'll be having a major guest showing up, okay, for this conference. The Group Managing Director of First Bank Holding, Mr. UKK, will be delivering the keynote address. And there'll be so many other people who will be running those plenaries, running some master classes, and running some panel discussions. It's going to be very rich. It will help tool you for transformation of your life, your business, your church ministry, and anything else that you do. All right, so this has been Leading Edge, and I want to thank you again for joining us.